ETS Jets. What is going on, Jet fans? And welcome back to another episode of the Jets Ward. I am your host, Ryan Ward, and I'm so excited to be back with you guys. I got a fun one for you guys in this one. But first, if you have been here before, welcome back. You know I always love having you guys here, no matter what. You are so much fun, and I love making these videos for you, and love that you're enjoying them as well. If you are new here, though, welcome. Whether you're a Jets fan, a fan of another NFL team, or just a casual NFL fan, you are always welcome here in the Jets Ward. It is a safe space for you, and I love that you're joining me here on this wonderful day as well. Like I said, I got a fun one for you guys, and training camp has been so much fun to listen to watch, and to go over and to talk about. And it's been a wild training camp for a lot of teams. Jets, everything's looking great. And the offense is moving good. The culture seems to be shifting into a positive way. The players seem to be having fun. But then you get a team like the Bears that seems like they're struggling right now. Ben Johnson is trying to put in this new offense, and it doesn't seem to be working. It's not clicking right now, but luckily it's early. It's training camp. But there are other teams that are dealing with massive injuries, big injuries to some key players that they might have lost them for the year or just for a little while until the season starts. But even still, any time missed, that's a big issue, especially when the season is coming quicker than you know it. But the biggest thing that I want to talk about in this video is there are still some major free agents out there that need to be signed. And I think they're going to be signed quicker than we think. But there are some people that have been added to the list that I was shocked that they were cut from their teams. But it happens every year. Big names get released by their teams for money issues or for just they have a new player that they drafted that they like a little bit more. They want to go younger. But right now in this video, I am going to talk to you guys about some big free agents and possible fits for them. Where do I see them falling? Where do I see them going? Some team players might have 4 fits, some might have 3, and I'll go over them as well, why I think they fit with these teams. And the first person that I want to talk about is a guy who recently became a free agent and somebody who's been making the rounds visiting teams already, and that is Noah Fant, tight end from formerly of the Seahawks. He was released. They have Elijah Arroyo, who they drafted in the 2nd or 3rd round this past year in the draft, and Noah Fant they moved on from. And it's interesting because he's only 27 years old. He's still a very good tight end in this league. He's a solid receiver, getting better at blocking. He's a great veteran presence. He played in 14 games last year, and I still think he's got a lot of good football left in him. He had 48 receptions last year, 500 yards, 1 touchdown, 10.4 average yards per game. And the teams that I think could definitely use him, number one, the Giants. They need a tight end. Theo Johnson is not a number 1 tight end in this league. I think he's a good complementary piece, but the Giants, if you want to give more help to Malik Nabers and Wandale Moore, then you got to get a tight end in there to help out your quarterbacks, especially in a young quarterback like Jackson Dart, who I believe is going to start at some point this year. One of the best things you can get for a young quarterback is a tight end. And Noah Fant is a great veteran in this league. He's not over the top. He's not going to destroy teams. He's not going to be the main target, but he gets the job done. He can block. He's a solid receiver. He's got good hands. And he could be a red zone threat too. Honestly, I think Noah Fant to the Giants would make way too much sense. And I think it would help them out a ton, them giving them another weapon to that offense that could be in dire need of weapons. They got Tracy. They got Cam Scatabo. They got Malik Nabers, who got hurt with a shoulder injury, it looks like, but I don't think it's too serious. They got Wandale Moore. They got weapons. Get a good tight end in there, and you could really bolster that offense, I think. And Noah Fant could be a very good option for them. I also think the Dolphins, Darren Waller, who they traded for from the Giants, is on the physically unable to perform list right now. So right now, they don't really have a solid tight end option. Noah Fant could come in and be a great number 1 option for them. I think he'd help out that offense, and I think their head coach, McDaniels, could definitely utilize him in a very positive way. I think he likes using tight ends. Look at what happened with Jonnu Smith last year. Noah Fant could have a resurgent year, could have a breakout year for him. So I think that could be very good for the Dolphins. The Jets, a veteran option. I think him and Mason Taylor could complement each other very, very good because we are going to be running the ball a lot. Having a solid 2 tight end set could be very, very useful. Now, do I think the Jets go for him? No, because it looks like the Jets are really loving Mason Taylor, which I am too. Stone Smart's been looking pretty good in training camp so far. And Jeremy Ruckert, the coaching staff has a lot of faith in him that he's going to rebound. I think Noah Fant would be a very good veteran option, though, and I think the Jets should consider it. Right now, too, the Jaguars. I don't think they have a very good tight end on their team. I think if they sign Noah Fant, he's a great number 1 tight end for them. And a great resource for Trevor Lawrence, who likes to utilize his tight ends in the passing game. So these are the 4 big fits that I think for Noah Fant. The team that I think he ends up with, though, I think he ends up going to the Dolphins. I think they sign him. He met with them or is currently meeting with them. So definitely could see him going to them. The second place I think would make the most sense would be the Giants. I already know he met with the Bengals, which could be a very good option, matching him with Gesicki. But I think the Giants and Dolphins would be great options for Noah Fant. And I think he ends up with the Miami Dolphins, which I'm not going to like as a Jets fan because I do like Noah Fant a ton. Still has a lot of good football left in him. But my number 2 free agent, I got Zach Moss, who was recently cut from the Bengals. And I honestly think he could be a very good complementary running back. He has good speed and power. He's only 27 years old, so there's a lot of football left in him as well. He played in 8 games last year. He dealt with a lot of issues last year, injuries. He's coming off a year where with the Colts that he was actually very, very good for them. And he went to the Bengals, ended up being the backup to Chase Brown. And with his injury, Chase Brown ended up emerging as a solid number 1 option. So they moved on from Zach Moss. He had 74 carries, 242 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns, and a 3.3 average on the ground. I think the best fits for him, I think he'd be a great complement to DeAndre Swift in Chicago. Them being a 1-2 punch, I think would make that offense really, really good. Because if you look where Ben Johnson's from, coming from Detroit, they had Jahmyr Gibbs and they had Montgomery, who was Jahmyr Gibbs was the speedster. Zach Moss could be the speedster for them. And Montgomery could be the DeAndre Swift, who could be the power guy. I think a 1-2 punch like that could be very, very good for Zach Moss and for the Chicago Bears. I also think the Colts would love to bring him back as a backup to Jonathan Taylor. I think that could be very good for him. Back to somewhere where he had success for. And I think the Raiders, too. Ashton Genty is going to be their number 1, but having a good, solid number 2 option behind him, and Zach Moss is a below average number 1, but a great number 2 option, he could be a good change of pace for them. So these are the 3 teams that I think could be very beneficial for them, for Zach Moss. And my prediction, I think he ends up back with the Colts. I really do. I like that fit for him. I think it makes a lot of sense. And the next one would be the Bears. I think that would make a lot of sense for them too. But the Colts are the team that I think he ends up going back to or signing with. Next, we get Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen is, I'm really shocked he's still a free agent, and we talked about him. He's coming off a solid year with the Chicago Bears as being their number 2, number 3 option. 70 receptions, 744 yards, 7 touchdowns, 10.6 average yardage. He's a really good receiver. Even though he's 33, he's still got a lot left in the tank. He's a solid route runner, good possession type of guy. He's not going to blow the doors off with his speed, but he's a bigger contested catcher and a great possession receiver. And a team that I think could definitely use him, the Giants. They need another weapon. I think he complements Malik Neighbors perfectly. Good veteran option too. Chargers. Been rumored that he's been wanting to go back to the Chargers, and the Chargers have been interested in him. So definitely could use him, a good compliment to Ladd McConkey. And then you have the Cardinals, who I think he'd be perfect in there with Malik or with Marvin Harrison Jr. there too. These two could be a great dynamic duo, especially with their solid tight end that they have there. So my prediction, I would say, I think he goes back to the Chargers. I think he wants to end his career with the Chargers where he had the most success. And I think that would be a great, great story for him to go back to where it began. And I think the Chargers want it. I think he wants it. I think it's only a matter of time before he ends up going back there. But continuing on, we get into number 4. I got Amari Cooper. And again, these numbers where I have them aren't like, oh, that's the 4th best. Amari Cooper's the 4th best free agent, because I don't think he is. I think there's a couple players who I would rank a lot higher. I'm just going in different order to make sure that I'm going through the list that I want. And Amari Cooper is another player. He's 31 years old, Bounced from the Browns to the Bills last year. He got traded to the Bills, and it just did not work out for him. I still think he has a little bit left in the tank. He played in 14 games last year, had 44 receptions, 547 yards receiving, 4 touchdowns, and 12.4 yards average. I think the best fits. I think Raiders make a lot of sense for him. I think that would be a great story to go back where he was drafted, just like Keenan Allen. I think the Cowboys, where he had a ton of success as well, would be great. Or the Giants. Again, they need another weapon. What better than Amari Cooper? Go to the Giants where you're going to get time playing. But I honestly think he ends up going back to the Raiders to mix with Jakobi Meyers. I think that would be a great compliment. Or the Cowboys. Either one of those teams I think would be great for him to go back to where he had the most success. Raiders or Cowboys, in my opinion. And I think it ends up being the Raiders. I just think he wants to go back to where he began. And not a better place to go to with Pete Carroll as the head coach, and you have Geno Smith as the quarterback. That could be very successful for him. So I think the Raiders, then the Cowboys would be great spots for him. Going into the next one, we are going to get into number 5. I got Ja'Whaun Bentley, another player who I know he was injured, but if he's fully healthy, he could be a great interior outside linebacker. Be great in the run game. Solid. Still, he's 29 years old, so he's getting a little older, coming off a very serious injury. Only played in 2 games last year, was released by the Patriots this offseason because he failed his physical. 7 solo tackles, half a sack, and you know the rest. He was injured, but the Patriots had so much confidence in the previous offseason, that they extended him. Because of his injury, he wasn't able to pass his physical. He was cut. I think if he's fully healthy, he could be a dynamic player in any linebacking room. And the teams that I think he best fits with, the Jets, I think he could be a solid outside run stuffer for the New York Jets, along with Jamie Sherwood and Quincy Williams. I think he could be very, very solid there. The Bengals, they always need linebacking help. I think he could be very good there, especially since they cut Jermaine Pratt. I think he could fit in perfectly there. And the Rams. I think the Rams have a young linebacking core. They could use some veteran leadership, and he's someone who's very, very good. And when he's healthy, he's a legit middle linebacker or starting linebacker. So watch out for this guy. I think he gets picked up very soon as well, as long as he can prove that he can stay healthy. And I think the team where he ends up with, I think he ends up with the Bengals. I really think that's a perfect fit for them. They need defensive help, and he's, when healthy, a very, very good linebacker. So watch out for Ja'Whaun Bentley. I think the Bengals would be a great fit. The Jets, I think, could definitely utilize another veteran leader in that locker room, in that linebacking room. And the Rams, I think, could be a perfect fit for him as well. Continuing on to number 6, I got Josey Jewell. Guys, I'm shocked the Panthers let this guy go. He was one of their most dynamic players on defense last year, one of the leading tacklers, leader on that defense, very, very good player. And yet they let him go. They have a lot of young defensive pieces on that team. But Josey Jewell is an interior linebacker, could play outside as well, but he's better in the interior. He's 30 years old, played in 12 games last year, had 51 solo tackles, 3.5 sacks, 1 interception. And the teams that I think could definitely use him are the Titans. I think the Titans' linebacking core is weak. And I think if they added him, they'd beef that up a lot. Cody Barton as a backup could be very solid for them. Josey Jewell being a dynamic player on that defense. I think the Raiders as well could definitely use him as a middle linebacker. They got Jermaine Pratt as an outside linebacker. Bring this guy in. That could be a dynamic linebacker core, in my opinion. And the Browns. They lost Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah for the season. They lost another linebacker recently. Jordan Hicks retired. So they definitely could use some more interior linebacking help, and Josey Jewell would fit that defense very, very well. And I think the Browns would love to have this type of guy. Leader in the locker room, leader on the field. I think it makes so much sense. I think the Browns end up with him, but I think the Titans would definitely love to have him as well. So watch out for those two teams signing Josey Jewell. Going into the next one, I have Kaiser White, another guy who can play interior, can play outside linebacker, very athletic, very, very good. A 29-year-old, durable, played in 17 games last year, 60 solo tackles, 2.5 sacks, 1 interception. Again, Titans, Raiders, Browns, and I think the Jets, honestly, as an outside guy, could blitz off the edge very quick, can cover. Very good player, does not miss a lot of tackles. I think he just makes a lot of sense for the Jets, Browns, and Raiders, and Titans again. I think he ends up going to Tennessee. I think he just fits that defense really, really well. And I'm shocked he's still a free agent, but I think he gets picked up very, very soon. And I think the Titans are the team that he ends up going to. So watch out for the Titans and Kaiser White to get a deal done. But continuing on to number 8, I got Jadeveon Clowney. I'm shocked he's still a free agent. He is a guy who is a edge setter. Great in the run defense. He's good with pass rushing, but that was never his strength. He is a dominant run defender. You play outside linebacker. He's better known for putting his hand in the dirt and just going after the quarterback. He's 32 years old, on the older side. He played in 14 games. The Panthers released him this offseason. Had 24 solo tackles, 5.5 sacks, 0 forced fumbles, 0 interceptions. But as a third down blitzer, he's solid. Or a 3-down guy. He could definitely be a 3-down player as well. And the teams that I think fit him the best, he's going to want a ring chase. So I honestly think the Eagles would be a perfect spot for him. I think the Cardinals would be a great spot for him too. And the Raiders too. I think the Raiders would love to have him on the edge as well. They just cut Christian Wilkins, who I'll get to in a little bit. But I think they could definitely use some more edge help to go along with Max Crosby over there as well to be dynamic. And Jadeveon Clowney could really, really fit well in that defense. So where do I think he ends up going? I really think he's going to want a ring because he's getting older. I think he ends up going to the Eagles. I think that's the best fit for him. But I could definitely see the Cardinals and the Raiders going after him as well. Continuing with the edge rushers, I got Za'Darius Smith, who I'm also really, really shocked he's a free agent. And again, he's 32 years old. He's getting older, but he was durable all season between the Browns and the Lions last year. He had 22 solo tackles, 9 sacks. It's just dominant on the edge. And a run stuffer, can get after the quarterback and just utilize him in great ways. And the teams that I think could benefit him, Eagles, one, if he wants to go for a ring, he was on the Lions last year. Go to a team that won the Super Bowl. Go to the Eagles. I think they could definitely utilize him. The Jets, he played in Aaron Glenn's system last year and was very, very effective. And the Jets could definitely use some more edge help, especially with Jermaine Johnson coming back from injury. Give him more time to heal. I think he could definitely be a great presence on that team. You can bump him inside as well to be an interior defensive lineman because he could definitely do that as well. Or have him as an outside linebacker and be a edge setter. I think the Jets could definitely use him, and he's familiar with Aaron Glenn's defense. And the Browns, I think Browns would definitely love to have him back as well. I think he just makes so much sense there. And he was very, very successful there with Myles Garrett. Now they have Mason Graham as defensive tackle. They have weapons there on the defense that could open up for more holes for him. So I definitely see the Browns being a fit for him. I honestly think the Jets might end up with him just because of the familiarity with Aaron Glenn. And I think it makes a lot of sense. And I think he's going to want to go to a team where he has a lot of familiarity with the coaching staff. And Aaron Glenn, head coach, I think could definitely want him and utilize him very, very well. So I definitely think the Jets could be very big in play here. So watch out for the Jets to make another splashy move. They've been very quiet and secretive this offseason, which I've loved. This could be a sneaky good move for the New York Jets to give Jermaine Johnson some time to heal and to be a great rotational piece in that line because he's going to go after the quarterback and be a good run setter on that edge. So watch out for him as well. Does it happen? I don't think so, but I could definitely see out of the 3 teams here, I could definitely see the Jets being the ones to get him. Going into the next one, I have Christian Wilkins. Man, this story is interesting. I love Christian Wilkinson. As you guys know from my defensive tackle power rankings, I had him very, very high. I'm very big on Christian Wilkins. I think he's a dominant figure. I think if he comes back fully healthy, he could be one of the better defensive tackles in the league. Problem is, the Raiders sort of just cut him out of nowhere. Now, there's rumors coming out that there were issues with his healing process, that he wasn't doing what the Raiders wanted. But the bigger issue was there was issues in the locker room. And the issue in the locker room was apparently that he went up to a player and was going to kiss them on the forehead. And the player took offense to it. Okay. Christian Wilkins has always been a very touchy player. You've seen one of the dirtier players in the league too. You've seen him in college with some of the antics that he pulled. You saw some of the antics in Miami that he pulled. But when he's got his head on straight, the guy's a dynamic football player and has so much talent. If he comes back healthy, anybody would love to have him because he's a dynamic player. And I thought he was going to do great things for the Raiders. But again, the injury really derailed him, and it's a very weird situation going on with all this issues of why the Raiders cut him. And not a lot of information is coming out other than what you've heard now. Again, he's only 29 years old. He played in 5 games last year, had 11 solo tackles, 2 sacks. Honestly, if he's fully healthy, I think he's going to be a dynamic defensive tackle. Now, where do they fit? Well, the Patriots came out and said they'd be interested if his health records are good and if they find out more information of what was going on in the locker room. I think Mike Vrabel could straighten him out. They could definitely use another defensive tackle, so they're definitely interested in him. So the Patriots are a big team that could want him. Bengals could definitely use more defensive help. I think B.J. Harris is good, but I think Wilkins is better, in my opinion. 49ers could definitely use some more defensive tackle help as well, and I think he'd be dynamic on that defensive line. And I think the Jets, just imagine Quinnen Williams next to Christian Wilkins. That could be Christian Wilkins, Quinnen Williams, Will McDonald, and Jermaine Johnson all on that starting D-line. That could be a really good defensive line. Now, again, I think AG, with how the accountability and everything, I think he could keep him in check. And I think if Christian Wilkins wants to win and wants to be on a team, going to the Jets locker room could definitely be a great thing for him to prove that he's still a legit defensive player in this league. And the Jets could be a great chance for him, honestly. Now, where do I think he ends up going? Unfortunately, I think he gets picked up by the Patriots. And I hate to say that because I hate having to deal with Christian Wilkins. I already had to deal with him twice a year when he was at the Dolphins, and he was a monster there. And having to deal with him with the Patriots, Vrabel gets the most out of their defensive tackles, man. And honestly, I think he would be a perfect fit for the Patriots. But I think the Niners could definitely use him. I think the Patriots and Niners are the teams to watch this. If the Jets signed him, I would be shocked, but I'd love it. If the Bengals go for it, I wouldn't be very shocked, but I think that's a perfect fit for them too. But watch out for the Patriots and the Niners. I think they're the best fits for him right now, especially if he's fully healthy and all of this stuff gets settled with the rumors going on around him and the locker room issues. So watch out for that. But continuing on, I got another defensive tackle that not a lot of people are talking about, and that's Raekwon Davis. Didn't have the best year last year, but he's only 28 years old. He played in all 17 games. He's a good rotational defensive tackle. He's got great size. He had 7 solo tackles, but that's about it. I think Patriots, Bengals, 49ers, and Jets. I honestly think if the Niners don't get Christian Wilkins, I think Raekwon Davis would be a great fit for them and could be a great rotational piece on that defensive line with Alfred Collins and all the other players they have over there. So right now, I think the 49ers, if they miss out on Wilkins, I think Raekwon Davis fits the best with the Niners. And I think he can be very good. He's got great size and great athleticism. Just never come full circle for him. So I think the Niners would be the best fit under Robert Saleh. I think that would be a great fit for him. Now, continuing. I get into Jalen Mills, and this is a guy you guys know I love. I think he's a great player. I still think he's got a lot left in the tank. He's 31 years old, played in 9 games last year, was great for the Jets. He was a solid tackler, great ball hawk back there. Was a great player, great leader in that locker room. I think the Jets are a great fit for him. I think he would love to come back to the New York Jets. I think AG would love to have that veteran leadership in that safety room as well, and I think he could bring a lot of help to Malachi Moore and AZ Thomas in that D-back room. And the Stevenson as well, Brandon Stevens. I think he'd be very good for him as well, and Andre Cisco. So I think the Jets would be the best fit for him. Steelers, I think, would be a great fit for him over there as well. He wants to win a chip. Everybody's saying the Steelers are very close, especially with Aaron Rodgers now. He could be a great fit for them. And the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs would love having him too. They just lost Justin Reed. I think Jalen Mills would be a great fit for the Kansas City Chiefs. And honestly, I think that might be where he ends up. I think the Chiefs are going to see him. They're going to see some weaknesses they have in their safety room. And I think Jalen Mills will be a great player to pick up in free agency for the Chiefs, but I would love to see him back with the Jets. So right now, my two choices, I think the Chiefs are number one where he ends up, or he comes back to the New York Jets. I think that would be the best spot. Those two places would be the best spots for Jalen Mills. I really think I love Jalen Mills. Love to have him on the show too. I know he posts a lot on X, so if he ever sees these videos, Jalen Mills, hit me up. I would love to have you on the show, buddy. But I think the Jets and the Chiefs would be the best fits for him. Chiefs number one, Jets number two. But I would love to see him come back to the New York Jets. Going on to the next one, Marcus Williams. Here's an interesting one. Ravens let him go. He's still a good player. 28 years old. He had a down year last year, played in 11 games, had 26 solo tackles, 2 passes defended. He was hurt. Struggled last year. Honestly, I think the Jets would be a great fit for him too. He had a great season at the Saints when AG was there coaching him. So I think they could be a great fit. The Steelers, the Chiefs, and I think the Saints would be a great place for him to go back to as well. Tyrann Mathieu just retired. I know they just signed another safety as well. Julian Blackmon replaced him over there. So Saints might not be a place for him now, but I think the Steelers could be a place that he ends up with. And I think the Chiefs too, if they don't go Jalen Mills. So the Steelers and Chiefs are teams that I think he could end up with. So watch out for them. It would be a long shot for the Jets. It would be a long shot for the Saints, in my opinion. But right now, the Steelers and the Chiefs are teams that I think he could end up with. Another one, Asante Samuel Jr. That injury must have been devastating to him because he's still a free agent, and he's only 25 years old. He played in 4 games last year, but when this guy's healthy, he can play on the outside. He can play in the slot. The guy's a solid defender. And I think he's still got a lot left in the tank. That injury must have been devastating, like I said. But teams that I think could definitely use him, the Dolphins are desperate for cornerback help. I understand they just signed 2 more cornerbacks, but man, Asante Samuel would be perfect for them, either in the slot or on the outside. I can also see the Raiders, their cornerback room is not great, so I could definitely see him going there. Or the Packers. The Packers definitely need cornerback help as well. So these 3 teams I think would be perfect for him. And the team that I think ends up signing him, I think the Dolphins. They just lost another cornerback for the year. So they could definitely they could definitely add another veteran and a young player at that. Give him a 1-year contract, see how he is off that injury. And I think Asante Samuel would be perfect in Miami. I would hate to say it because I do like the player a lot, but I think Miami would be the perfect fit for him, or the Packers. I think the Packers would definitely like to have him as well because they could definitely use more cornerback help. And continuing with the cornerbacks, I got Stephon Gilmore. He's an old veteran, man. He's 34 years old, but he's still playing at a high level. Played in 14 games for the Vikings last year, and 40 solo tackles, 1 interception, 9 passes defended. Dolphins, again, could definitely utilize him. I think the Bengals could be a great spot for him as well as a veteran leader in that cornerback room. And the Patriots, go back to where you had a lot of success. Christian Gonzalez just got hurt, so definitely could use some help over there. Honestly, I think that would be a perfect spot for him. But I do think he ends up with the Bengals. I really do. I think the Bengals need more defensive back help. And I think he can play cornerback still, or they can move him to safety. So sort of what like the Steelers might do with Jalen Ramsey. Stephon Gilmore, though, I think could be a very good player for the Bengals and be a very good presence for that defensive backs core. So I think the Bengals or the Dolphins are the best fits for him at this point. And again, continuing on, I get into Rasul Douglas. I think the best fit for him is the Packers. Honestly, he's another cornerback. He played with the Packers before. He loved the Packers. The Packers loved him. I think that would just be a match made in heaven. I think he's a solid ball hawk back there. And he can play in the slot. He can play on the outside. He can do a lot of great things. I think the Rams would be a great fit for him as well. Or the Chiefs. They could definitely use more rotational cornerback help alongside Trent McDuffie over there. Honestly, I think the Packers would be the best fit for him, and that's where I end up thinking he goes back to, though. So Packers are where I think Douglas ends up going. And continuing on, I have no more free agents for you guys. So that's my list currently. I know there's a ton more. You could talk about Justin Simmons and where he could end up. You could talk about other players as well. DJ Chark was signed recently, which I was very happy about. I love DJ Chark and think he's going to do very, very well. I believe he was signed by the Falcons, so good move by them. honestly, there's a ton of free agents that still have a ton of talent that are still out there that could be signed at any moment. I could talk about Isaiah Bond again, who is a free agent, or undrafted free agent who's going through a lot of legal issues. But if he comes out and he's not guilty, I think he could be a steal for a team as a wide receiver. Young 21-year-old receiver who's fast as heck, has solid hands, and was really good for Texas last year. He could be a great player to pick up as well. I talked about him as a player I think the Jets could go after if all the legal issues are done. But there's a lot of players. Brandon Sheriff is still out there. Will Hernandez is still out there for lineman depth or even starting guards. Like, there's a lot of free agents out there that could definitely help out these teams in training camp at this point. But guys, let me know how you think I did. Do you like these free agents? Do you like the fits that I gave them? Are there any other free agents that you would want to target and where you think they would fit best with? Let me know down in the comments. And again, guys, thank you so much for joining me in the JETS Jets Ward. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next one.